Hello, I'm Karen with the Stitching Post, and I'm the service technician. And today I'm going to show you how you should clean your machine. First off, we're going to take our bobbin cover off. Then we're going to take our little screwdriver and put it under the tip right here and twist it so that it pops that cover off. We'll take our little horseshoe piece out, take our bobbin case out. And you do notice that I have the machine turned off. And the reason I do that is we're going to move the cutter over to clean behind it also. So you'll take your screwdriver and put to the left of it, and it's going to be kind of tight, but push it over. There's a little piece here that flips up, and there's a little Velcro. And you can just take your fingernail and kind of rub over it, and it will get any lint that's on that off. If this little piece should come out, it just has a little post and sticks right back in. So we're going to take that back out. You'll also notice that the fetcher on this side has a little hook that's sticking out when the thread cutter is all the way to the right, and occasionally this will get caught on thread and stay out because it's not really attached in the back but by a little bitty tiny post. So this is also how you would put that back in if it should come out and start catching your thread. So I just have it pushed all the way back, and when I take my, it's kind of tight in there because I pushed it over really far. Make sure that's down, and you'll watch this will move back over when I push it. See, it moved back to the back, and now it's caught in the back. To clean your machine, you're going to want to never use canned air because canned air will blow all this lint back into the computer boards. I prefer Q-tips, but you do have a little brush that comes with it. You're going to want to clean here in this area, and you can stick it way down in there and clean as much as you can out. You're going to clean around here. You're going to clean in this little spot right here. And I have found if you'll put your Q-tip on the right side of the feed dogs and push over, you'll be able to see the lint come over here, and you can grab it with some tweezers if you have it. There's also, when you turn the hand wheel, there's this little hole in the hook area. And you can take that and turn your hand wheel and clean all up in there. So all the way around, clean it really good. This machine is really clean, so you're not going to see that. And then get it back to your original position. And that's all there is really in cleaning this. If you want to use a vacuum attachment like you use for your computer, you can go ahead and use that and suck whatever lint else you can see. But you really need to have a Q-tip or your brush to stick down in there and get down deep, because some of that lint will be caught up on the gears in there. Then to put it back together, you're going to take your bobbin with a metal piece towards you, and you're going to cup it down in there. And I always take it and do this to make sure that it's seated correctly. This little black tab needs to be to the left of this ledge here so that it's seated correctly. Then we're going to take our little horseshoe piece, and it has a tab on the back side of it. So it needs to stand up and then go down. Then we'll take our stitch plate, and it has a tab on this side of it, and that has to be totally flush with the back so that it will clamp in. If you have it and it doesn't go all the way back, then your needle's going to hit the front of your needle plate. And we're going to pop that back down, and then we're ready to put our bobbin in and put our cover on. You need to do this about every 8 hours. And I also change my needle at the same time. And I don't mean 8 hours of sitting at your machine. If you sit at your machine for 8 hours a day, probably on average you're only actually sewing for about 2. The rest of it's going to be prepping and getting your stuff ready and pressing. So do about every 8 hours of sewing. So I would say about every 4 or 5 days. If you use your machine every day, you do need to clean it out and put a new needle in. And that's how you're going to clean your machines. Hi, this is Karen again, and I just wanted to show you why you should bring your machine in once a year for me to clean it. This machine had been cleaned like we talked about earlier, really good on the inside, so looks are deceiving. When I pull the covers off, you can see, and this is not even one of the worst ones. I've seen them when it's totally felted on there. You can see all the lint built up. It's also built up underneath the hook where you can't see, and it's starting to kind of get up. We call it flocking. It flocks that lint up in the head of the machine. And these are places that you can't get to. So you need to bring it to me to clean all this out, because when this lint gets on the gears that are pre-lubricated, it sucks all the lubrication out of them, and so you'll have dry gears, which is not good for your machine. And this was just a chance for you to look and see what one of these machines looks like when I take it apart.